Welcome back, fellow restless spirits. Today, you'll notice with me, Victoria Bell, and she is the writer, director, and star, right, of Heir of the Witch.
Yes.
Yes, so thank you and welcome her. And we're going to talk about this movie that she made, and we're going to start right with that because that's what caught my eye. It has a very you have a very unique personal connection to the movie. So I'm gonna read my notes because off the top of my head I talk terribly. um so then that's, like I said, what caught my eye was that it's semi-inspired by your grandmother, who was an actual Moldov how do I say that? Moldovan?
Moldovan. Yes. I'm
Moldovan.
originally from Republic of Moldova, and she was a witch, and I was very much ashamed of it all of my life, and hiding that behind. My mother's side of the family, I was brought up Christian, and to show that part that actually we have a bad apple in the family, that my grandmother was a witch, but she wasn't the type of witch that will do good things with those powers or inspire or help those around her. She was doing actual things to harm people and especially her family. So
Oh,
that's what actually brought this pain in my heart. And I said, I have to, if I'm going to present the story, it has to be honest and it has to come from my heart. And I can't hide the details, and I can't really, I had to come from a place of honesty and share my pain with the world.
oh my goodness. And this was a very I mean, not interesting. It was an interesting movie, but it's interesting that that is what sparked you to channel into this. And I just am wondering now that you said that, because I didn't realize there was that not good component. But people, when they see the movie, will definitely wonder if I mean, they're gonna hope that your grandma never bound you to a chair like Anna experienced, did she?
No, she hasn't. So one of her fruits of her witchcraft is that she um, placed witchcraft all over our house. My mother and my sister would tell me that they will walk into the house and find things that she will place under our carpet, within our dishes and clothes, so that we would either eat it or step on it. And then that type of energy will be around our house. And my mother and my father started to have really bad arguments, and eventually they separated. And I was only 1 year and a half, and I don't remember all those details, but I grew up with this fear. So, so then we went to visit that part of the family. The only trip that I ever took, I was a child, maybe 4 or 5 years old, maybe a little older. I don't remember the exact time frame. And I was there briefly, and I remember we were staying at an aunt of my father's side. But one day we went to visit grandmother, and she said, "You know what? Come over here. I want to do a protection spell for you." And I had no idea what was that about. And at that time, my family wasn't sharing with me yet all the details and the reasons why we left that side of the family. And I remember just sitting on the chair and as a child, just wondering, just, being thinking of things. Then I started hearing things, the spells and the things she would whisper. And I remember she had this pen. It was a metal pen that put her over my head. I was sitting on the chair, and she started to break things and put liquids in there and metals, and the whispers and the things she would say, they were horrifying. And as a child, I just remember thinking, this can be good. This can be for protection. This can be for my good. And the more I heard things, I remember she would say things like, taking this blood of this animal to do this certain things, taking the voice of the crows to do this, taking the, like, basically taking characteristic of animals and put it against me. and and then she would invoke the dark spirits, and I just remember saying, just don't think of it, don't listen to it, because if you don't listen and don't embody that energy, it cannot have any effect on you. But even with, like, I would close my eyes and just like, don't listen to this, and I would try my hardest to not be present and not connect with what she was saying. But even then I was very terrified and I couldn't really ignore it. And then my sister walked in and she saw me. She just came and grabbed my hand, and they exchanged some, don't do that ever again. How dare you? And we left. We left that village that day. We just left. I remember we just didn't stay for the rest of the trip. Um, so yeah, that's my encounter, my only encounter that I remember with my grandmother. But I do remember a mother and my family telling me how they found things on my after my baptism in my clothing. They found things that were tied with red ties, and um, those I used to have nightmares and scream a scream that was not human, that was not mine, since I was a very tiny baby, all throughout my childhood, my teenage years. Um, Last time I've had that scream was in college, and I took a lot of time to pray and a lot of time to go to a monastery and just really connect with the light in me so I can overcome that darkness. But yeah, that's what grandmother said in a long answer. That's what grandmother did actually in person to me. But I've heard many more stories that she's done to our family, into our house, into the family, into my mother and my father's marriage. My father was very much a love of my mother, and the only time I met him, I was 30 years old, and I've asked him, why did you leave mom? Mom, the most amazing human on planet Earth. And he looked at me and just said one word: witchcraft. I know you're not going to believe this. I love your mother today, like in the day one, but there was a lot of witchcraft done on our family. And at the time, I said, what a coward answer. This is a cope out. Like, you can't tell me that. But then he followed up with, when I would get into this place of darkness, I didn't see things outside that, and everything became like possessed. Like, I'll do things outside my nature, and I'll do things to hurt the marriage and the connection. And then when he would come back to it, he'll realize what he's done and he will apologize. um, but this is my mother and my father's connection, and I came to agreement and I forgave my father. um, but I had to really look into it. What does witchcraft actually do to people? And think about it. If you take an emotion that's positive, right, and you inspire someone and you sit with them and tell them, like, you're a beautiful human, you can do so much goodness in this world, you have a gift and you're here to create an impact in the world, and you take that energy and that's light and that's positivity, and it inspires you, right, and you take that energy and you go and create things, you create worlds, you create movies, you create children, you create a business. So it's the good energy that inspires us. And I think that if you take that energy and put it in a negative aspect, it's also powerful, because we are all powerful creators. And it depends in what way we take that energy and put it into the world. And my grandmother sadly chose to do it in a negative way, and to bring sadness and heartache upon our family. Um, and I decided to write about it. I decided to share my story and my pain with it.
Oh my gosh. And that gives it so much more perspective, when you watch the movie. And there's definitely scenes that resonated anyways, but then hearing this, it hits harder. It's like, oh, okay. And I don't want to give away any spoilers, so I'm like trying to choose my words carefully. And thank you, by the way, for the screener for letting me watch it ahead of time. I'm so impressed with your talent and just everything you did to create that, from using your real life story and then bringing, something good to people who, I don't like that that was a real story that happened to your family. Well, not the story in the movie, but that it inspired. But I love that you put something out there.
Yes, and obviously the movie itself, it's not all part of reality.
Right.
A lot of it that is just creation, and I brought in my own take on it as an artist. And I hope that the audience will be taken on this roller coaster journey, that they'll enjoy and wonder, was this inspired from reality, or is this from her mindset, from her own fiction world? So I can't wait for the world to see it.
I love that. I love that. It's so exciting. It's so exciting putting, so it's like really putting a baby out there to have everybody, enjoy too.
It is. It's a creative baby. It took so much time. It took so much effort and hard work behind the scenes, and in moments where you wait on others, or like there's challenges like COVID, and there's things that are just not going according to the plan, and that's to be expected. But in those moments, I had to just be strong and keep pushing and keep persevering and keep working hard, because the indie filmmaking, it's not an easy journey, and there's moments when nobody believes in you, especially when you're a first-time filmmaker as a woman coming into this world and saying, I'm going to create an idea from my head and make a whole world out there, and hoping to inspire, to impact the people. And some will look at you and be like, well, it sounds exciting, but I've never seen you doing this. So sometimes you may be met with questioning. And then here I am. I made it. It's happening. The world premiere will be on August 2nd. And I can't wait for the world to see it, because I literally poured my heart and my soul in this movie. And my team was such an amazing team, and everyone worked so hard. And we have about 80% women in my crew. So I'm really, really happy to give women a voice so they can have the courage to write and direct and make their own stories, because we have such powerful stories to tell to the world. And I want to inspire as many women as I can with my platform, to reach them, to be both in front and behind the camera, whether you're an actress, whether you're a writer, whether you're a screenwriter, or a anything. I'm open to all ideas and areas, and I just want women to believe in themselves, to create stories.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Your mom, did you get a lot of that from your mom?
My mother passed away 4 years ago, and
Oh,
she's with me every day. I love her. She was the queen of my heart and the most kindest human ever. And um, what she couldn't do is that she couldn't go to college. She couldn't follow her passion. She had 4 children, and she had to take care of all of us, because father wasn't there. And I never missed anything. I've always had everything. And I didn't know what is to miss anything. And I understood that she had to sacrifice everything to give us the life we had. So my company, it's called Pasha Entertainment. It's actually my mom's nickname. My mom's nickname is Pasha. And I made the company, I created it in honor of my mother, so that I can bring to the world everything that's in my heart, that she as a woman didn't have the opportunity to do it. In Moldova, where it's really hard to have freedom of speech to really write stories that are different, and here in US I'm able to create any story. As long as you work hard, you can actually create something for yourself and make movies that are impactful. And I'm so grateful for that. And I wanted her to have this honor and to be proud that I'm actually following my heart. And it took me a while. I didn't start this company until 2017. And it's been several years now. We've been doing several short films, and I worked as a director and producer on other projects and a pilot and feature films. But I want to make sure that I continue this platform and I continue in film industry because that's what my heart is calling me to do, and to inspire more women to do the same.
That's fantastic because it's so interesting that it's very easy for, I don't know why, I don't know if men do it too, but it does seem easier for women not to follow. So I love it. Like I have tears. I was like, Don't cry, don't cry. But I love the fact that even knowing where your company name, I wouldn't have thought to ask that. So that's a fantastic extra tidbit.
Thank
Thank you for
you. We
sharing.
are, thank you. We as women think first of things to nurture, to procreate, to um, and I think creativity and writing, it's also procreating. It's a creative child, and it's okay to have a voice, and it's okay to be courageous and to have the courage to go out there and make something that you've never done before. Like it's okay, create something, make a movie, a story, write a book, and even if it's decent, you still did so much more than not trying at all. So, to
Absolutely.
all the women in the world, let us show up for our hearts and what our desire is and our soul's path here. It is to do so much and to impact the world.
Oh, I love, my gosh, I wasn't even expecting to get like it's like a TED talk, like a live or a one-on-one TED talk, but other people will get to see too. So that's awesome. And speaking of this creative process that you have undertaken, um, what was your biggest challenge with creating Heir of the Witch?
Well, I started from the beginning as a writer, right? So I had to write the script and then I directed it. And then I also starred in it as Anna, the lead actress. So that was a big challenge for me to wear so many hats. And while on the set, I think one of the biggest challenge for me was to be playing Anna's role, which is more of a submissive and meek and in pain and always in agony, and then drop that character and then step into a leading role as the director. So the team look up to me and listen to me, and actually we all, well, it's not listening to me, it's a teamwork. We all work together, and I've always encouraged feedback, and I said, please, if there's something in you doesn't resonate with this, come to me, let's have an open conversation, let's have an open discussion so that we can all agree what we're creating here. It's a powerful story. But also there was a moment where I had the vision and I had to make sure that I translated well to my actors and to my team. And you have to be a leader. You have to step in as a creative force and as a person that is the glue of the team. And to step in from Anna, which was kind of led on by the society and by the environment, and step in front as the leader of my team, it had to be emotionally, I had to connect with Anna, and then, okay, now we're here to empower, to inspire, to move the team so we can create this project. And I think that was the challenging part of going back and forth. And also no sleep. I haven't slept at all during production. It was a lot of hard work, and being able to navigate through all the steps of the production and making sure every department has what they need. And I would check in with everyone and making sure we know what we're shooting today and everyone is on the same page with what's the goal, what's everyone's character's goal, and if the makeup department has all the supplies for special effects, if the set is done, and everyone was on top of their game. Everybody did an amazing job, which I'm so grateful to my team. But I still had to make sure that everything is going smoothly and we're good to go. And sometimes things would arise out of, rain would happen or the schedule would change, and we had to accommodate. And I had to always keep a positive attitude and inspire the team and make sure that we're all making the same movie. It's a story that we all have to have the same ultimate goal to make a powerful story that will impact the world. And there was moments where, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning, we had to film in the middle of the woods when it was just nature against us, pretty much. And I would say, you know what? Think about it this moment. This moment is a moment in time that will pass. But what we're making, it's a movie, it's a magical story that will be here even after we die. It will be here for centuries and longer. So that moment, this very moment, we're creating history. So even though it's hard, even though it's late and we're tired, let's push through this, because this is history in the making. And everyone would just give this extra energy and we'll just go full force, and magic, little magic happen on set. The footage and everyone's performance was so great, and I was just in euphoria the whole time we were filming, because it was absolutely beautiful. And I was so grateful to my team, and even through all the challenges we've been through, we were able to finish it, and here it is. And even with all the challenges me as a writer, director, and actor I faced, I am so grateful that I went through that journey. I learned so much during that process, and I'm so grateful that we did it.
Ah, that's awesome. Congratulations. And what a great attitude that I think that's a trait of successful people. Like when I read the list, it's they don't let the challenges they take from them, they don't let them be taken from. Am I saying that wrong?
Right, it makes sense because nothing will go always according to the plan. You'll make a plan, and then the weather and then the allocation may fall through, or something happen, or an actor can't show up. And you have to think on your feet, and you have to be open to changing things. Even when I wrote the script, I had this idea that I can definitely accomplish this. I can definitely make this just powerful scenes. And then I had to take a hard look at my budget and then locations and what I can actually do, and then make sure that I put the money on the screen where you see it, where it actually goes to where it matters the most. And you have to think fast and be open to changes, and even if it breaks your heart in the process, because you write a masterpiece, and then you, with the help of your team, try your best to bring it to the same masterpiece you envisioned in your head. But sometimes that doesn't happen. Things would change, things will always change, but that's okay, because what we have in the end, it might not be exactly as I envisioned, but it's perfect in its own way. And it had so many editing and cutting, and you have to, sometimes even the distributor says you have to be within this timeline, you have to do this details, and you have to go through with it. And it's good because I love it, and it's, like I said, it's perfect in its own way.
Yeah, it's what it turned out to be. And then I'm gonna flip that and just ask you the opposite. What was the most satisfying part?
What was the most, what?
Oh, satisfying
The
part?
satisfying part. I can't pick one thing that's sad. It was everything. Literally, it was like, think about it when you just finish a marathon and you have this, oh my gosh, I did it. It was so hard. It was sweating and hard and just challenging and but we did it. That that feeling, it was in my heart every day when we finished on set. It was, I would look at the footage and I look what we created, and I just be in awe, out in awe of what we did as a team, what we did with limited resources, what we did with challenging times of COVID, what we in and we literally did magic. And I was in tears of joy and gratitude every single day. And I can't choose one moment or one part because the whole journey was just a complete journey of love and happiness and just being there to create something that has been so powerful and important in my heart, and to bring a whole team to agree with you, said yes, sure, let's go and make this powerful story. And everything, absolutely everything was so satisfying. I think the wrap moment, when we finished, it was just that moment, like, oh my god, we all looked at each other. We had this, it was super late and we're super tired, and we just had this, we did it. Like, we actually did it. It's done. It's in the can. And it was just a moment of excitement, but also just let this moment be. And we were also present and happy to have the movie in the can. And that was a moment to remember. And I have so a million of those moments, when certain scenes were so challenging to film. And I would literally pray before shooting, like, help us everything to go smoothly. Safety, number one, safety. Everyone to be safe on set. Help us to get according to the schedule. Help everyone to show up with a cheerful heart. And at the end of the day, I was like, oh my gosh, we did it. And all of those moments were just so impactful and happy and satisfying to my heart.
Oh, that's all I love. I love your energy. It seems so strange for you to create such a dark movie when you've got so much, but it's good. I mean, I'm not complaining because people don't associate me with horror at all, and I love it. But this is partially why. And I just have two other questions for you, really fast. Um, would you ever consider um taking like a documentary approach to examining witchcraft in Moldova versus US, or your families? Like, would you ever consider that at all?
I don't. I haven't thought of. I do have documentary idea that I want to bring to the world. I haven't thought about it from that aspect of witchcraft, but that could be a potential idea. I just took this story more of a creative form because I didn't want to be stuck in a certain format. I wanted to bring twists and turns, and I wanted to create that creative aspect where it just you didn't see it happen, and there's so many moments that the twist, right? I love that part. um but maybe for the future, who knows, I'd love to explore and actually hear from the sources of, because this is the thing. I don't say this lightly. Witchcraft in certain countries at the source of where it's been performed for so long, it is so much more of a um, intense and horrifying practice. And I haven't interacted with a lot of witches, but the few women that do present themselves as witches, they present themselves as using that energy to create um, things for good. Um, the witches in Moldova, um, they use that energy to create harm, and using very dark and scary things like like going to a funeral and stealing items from the person who's dead, like their actual items, so they can use that into making a family to break apart, into making a person to die, into making a person to be um, it's just horrific things. And I don't take that lightly. I found that there is, through opening up and talking about that, you understand that there is two sides. There is always the light and the darkness, and what we choose to do, it's always our choice. And as a powerful creators that we all are, choose to do good in the world, choose to spread goodness. And even though I wrote such a different movie and horror and powerful, but we're a complex being, right? Don't let that be bound to what type of person is she, he, or her, or them, and just use your energy to do good, no matter what you choose. And if I were to make a movie, an actual documentary about that, I would explore both sides. I would explore the witchcraft part and the darkness, but I'll also go to the light workers and the people who see things the different way. And I would like to have both aspects into that. So yeah, that's an idea. I definitely would explore that for the future.
That's fantastic. And I like that, but as you were talking about some of that, I'm like, my gosh, that could be terrifyingly dangerous. Like that's like I I I no. That's extremely dangerous to I mean, it could be if they're going to use that kind of energy because energy is real. I mean, even like when you go to a concert or something, you can feel the crowd, you know, responding to whoever's performing. And if it turns, which thank I've never been in something that turned, but when it's good, you can really feel. So when you're talking, that's what I was envisioning of feeling and the power and or even just a good movie. You're like, yeah, you come out of that or a good talk. There's a lot of good energy I feel. And yeah, that could be extremely dangerous. So maybe just stick to the creative part.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't hold myself to one area. My next movie, it's actually a thriller, and it's a psychological thriller. And there's just a few details of horror there, but it's mostly a thriller, and I'm excited for that. I'm so excited for it. So I tried to have my spectrum open to different genre and different movies, and so that, who knows, it could be a documentary in the future.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And I'm excited. That was an extra little tidbit that
Uh,
you threw in there about what's coming next so we know to watch. Or keep it, keep up in track with you. And then, okay, so last question, I'll just talk about Easter eggs if you threw any in, because there's a scene with Anna in the car with the girls, and there's a red balloon, and immediately I'm like, it is that a it Easter egg? But did you mean to do that, or did you throw any in, or
oops, sorry. No, actually, it was my set designer that brought me a bunch of balloons and pick your choice, and I just went with red.
oh,
And then, so it was one of those moments that it just kind of happened, but it worked in the favor because when I watched it when we watched the footage on the screen there, I said, "Oh my gosh, I saw that to the it correlation," but it wasn't intentional. Just a lot of things in the movie. Also, um, there is a scene where the script was set to be filmed outside, and then a huge storm happened, and I said, just roll the camera, let everyone roll inside. And it made the movie so perfectly set that it actually looks so much better. And it was just nature. Nature decided to just a huge storm that everything, all the balloons and all the plates, everything just flew out in the wind. I said, just roll the cameras, just film it all. We're not gonna stop. And there's a lot of things like that throughout the movie that they just happen and it actually worked in the favor of your movie. So you have to be open to that, right? Like again, as a creator, just be open to that. But in terms of the Easter eggs, there's so many of them throughout the movie. There's so many breadcrumbs. It just kind of think of like a Fight Club. When you watch it, you don't realize it, but then when you go and rewatch it again, you're like, oh my gosh, it was in your face the whole time and I didn't see it. So it's the same with Heir of the Witch. I love those type of psychological and mental movies that you have to think and you have to go rewatch it. And the more you watch it, the more satisfied you get because you get so many breadcrumbs and Easter eggs, like you said, that once you catch them, like, oh, that makes sense. So I hope that the audience will be paying attention and catching them all. And if you don't, go back and watch it again because you'll definitely be worth your while.
Then you'll pick up on, oh my goodness, oh, thank you so much. And is that how people could follow you? Is Pasha Entertainment? Is that how
Pasha
they?
Entertainment on our movie website, it's heirofthewitch.com.
Okay.
And all of the Instagram, Facebook, all of them also, it's Heir of the Witch. And then our premiere will be on August 2nd, but it will be in the North Carolina market. And then on August 4th will be worldwide release on all streaming platforms. So you can go ahead and watch it and rent it or buy it and just tell me what you think. I'm really, really open to feedback and I want to hear what your thoughts are. And indie filmmaking, it's not an easy journey. I've learned so much in making this movie and I'm so grateful to be here. And for the next movie, I'll be so much better prepared. But I want to hear the audience because I made this movie for the audience and I put my heart into it and I want to hear what are your thoughts.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope people watch it. So August 2nd it comes out on.
The premiere on the August 4th. It's
Is this
on streaming platforms, on all streaming platforms, and iTunes and Amazon and Michael, all of them that there are. You just put Heir of the Witch and you'll find it. And connect with me. Find me on Instagram or Facebook and let's stay in touch. All filmmakers and creative people and horror fans out there, I want to be in touch with you.
awesome. And is that Victoria Bell? Is that how they find you?
So it's Victoria Filmmaker. My personal Instagram, it's Victoria underscore filmmaker on Instagram. But also Heir of the Witch. Everywhere, if you put Heir of the Witch, you'll find me there as well. So I try to be as responsive as possible. Also on our website, go into Heir of the Witch. There is a place that you can send me an email. And I'd love to connect with you and hear your thoughts and your journey. What are you doing in your creative journey and as a filmmaker and film lover?
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. People, just to warn you, they might be looking for, some more TED Talk inspiration when they see that side of you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm always here in any aspect I can serve and help the world. And I think storytelling and filmmaking, it's a great platform where you can connect with the people and you can pour and share your heart and let the people see that part of you.
Oh my, well, thank you for sharing this part of you here with me and whoever watches this. I greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for allowing us indie filmmaker and to showcase on your platform and for all your support. It means so much. It means so much to all of us because there's so many nights where we're alone writing and working, and when it's finally the movie is complete and we can take a breather and be like, okay, it's here, and the actual audience receiving it and platforms like yours to reach out to help and support us, it means the world. So thank you.